There is an old story about a farmer who owned a goose. Every single morning that goose laid one golden egg, one egg a day, nothing more. At first the farmer was thrilled. He sold the eggs, and slowly his life got better. But after a while, he got impatient. He started thinking about how much gold must be sitting inside that goose right that very moment. So one morning, he grabbed a knife and cut the goose open, expecting to find a treasure chest of gold inside. Instead, he found nothing, just a regular goose, and now a dead one. No more eggs, ever again. That farmer lost everything because he could not wait for the process to work. And here's the part that should make you sit up straight. Most people watching this video right now are doing the exact same thing with their own money, without even realizing it. Stay with me, because by the end of this, you are going to understand exactly why some people build real wealth while others stay stuck, no matter how much they earn. In personal finance, there is a simple way to translate that old story into your bank account. The goose is your principal. That is the actual money you save and invest. The golden eggs are the interest and the returns that money produces on its own without you lifting a finger. Most people are born with no goose at all. If every dollar that comes in gets spent, then a goose never gets the chance to grow. And if you never have a goose, you are stuck trading your hours for money for the rest of your life. But once you have a goose, something incredible happens. The money starts working even while you sleep. It starts working while you're at your job. It starts working while you're on vacation. That is the entire secret behind people who look like they have more freedom than everyone else. It was never about a bigger paycheck. It was about protecting a goose long enough for it to start laying eggs on its own. The 3 ways people kill their own goose without realizing it. So if the goose is that powerful, why does almost nobody have one? Because most people are killing it slowly in 3 very common ways, and none of them feel like a mistake in the moment. The first way is spending everything before saving anything. Paycheck comes in, rent gets paid, card payments go out. Whatever is left gets spent. There was never a goose to begin with because nothing was ever set aside first. The second way is the reward trap. You finally save a little bit of money, and the second you see that number grow, you feel like you deserve a treat, a new phone, a weekend trip, new shoes. That small stash you were building just got sacrificed for a few days of feeling good. The third way is the most dangerous because it feels like winning. Your credit limit goes up. You feel richer, so you spend more today assuming future you will figure it out. That is borrowing against a goose that does not even exist yet. If any of these 3 sound familiar, do not feel bad. This is not about willpower. It is about never having had a system in the first place. And that is exactly what we are fixing right now. Here is something nobody tells you. You were never going to win this fight using willpower alone. Companies spend billions of dollars every single year studying exactly how to make you want to spend. Every notification, every discount countdown, every perfectly placed advertisement was built by teams of experts whose entire job is to get past your self-control. You are one person trying to resist a system built by thousands of trained professionals. That is not a fair fight, and it was never supposed to be. The people who actually build wealth are not the ones with superhuman discipline. They are the ones smart enough to stop relying on discipline altogether. Instead of fighting temptation every single day, they built a system that removes the temptation before it ever shows up. And that changes everything. The system that protects your goose automatically. So here is exactly how you build one for yourself. Step 1, open a separate savings account that is not connected to your everyday spending card. Do not link it to any payment app. Do not make it easy to pull from. The harder it is to touch, the safer your goose is. Step 2, set up an automatic transfer that moves a fixed amount out of your checking account the day after you get paid. This takes about 5 minutes to set up one single time. After that, it runs forever without you thinking about it. Step 3, let the system run itself. The money leaves your main account before you even see it sitting there, which means you are never tempted to spend it because your brain never registered it as available in the first place. This is the entire trick behind people who seem to save effortlessly. It is not that they want less. It is that the money is gone before the wanting even starts. How much should actually go to your goose? A simple starting point that works for a lot of people is splitting income into 3 buckets. A portion goes straight to the untouchable goose account. A portion covers your actual bills and daily life. And a small portion is left over guilt-free for things you enjoy. Some people aim for around half of their income going toward savings and investing, but that number is not realistic for everyone starting out, and that is completely fine. What actually matters is not the exact percentage. What matters is that some amount, even a small one, becomes non-negotiable every single month. Start with 10% if that is what fits your life right now. The habit matters more than the number in the beginning. Now let me show you why starting small is still worth it, and this is the part that tends to surprise people the most. Imagine setting aside just a small amount every single month into an account earning a steady return. In the first year, it barely looks like anything. A few $100s saved and a tiny bit of interest on top of it. Almost not worth mentioning. But give that same habit 5 years, and the account has grown far beyond what was actually deposited, because the interest itself has started earning interest. Give it 10 years, and the growth accelerates even faster, because now you have a decade of compounding working in the background. Give it 20 years, and something remarkable happens. The amount sitting in that account can end up being more than double what was actually put in, with the difference being money that was never earned through labor. That extra money did not come from a raise. It did not come from a side hustle. It came entirely from protecting the goose long enough to let it multiply. This is why the timing question matters so much more than the amount question. Someone who starts small today will always beat someone who waits for the perfect moment to start big later. Every single year you delay is a year of eggs you will never get back. There is one rule that determines whether any of this actually works for you. The goose itself never gets touched. Ever. When that account hits its first 1,000, that is not a signal to treat yourself to a trip. When it hits its first 5,000, that is not a signal to upgrade your phone. When it eventually crosses into serious money, that is still not a signal to buy something impulsive with the principal. You are allowed to enjoy life. Nobody is telling you to live like a monk, but the reward comes from the eggs, never from the goose. Once the account is generating real interest on its own, that interest can fund the things you enjoy without ever shrinking the machine that produced it. The moment you start pulling from the principal itself, you are right back to that farmer standing over a goose that will never lay another egg again. Once your goose is big enough to sustain itself, something shifts in how you experience your own life. You stop being a person who only makes money through hours worked and start becoming someone whose money also works independently of you. That does not mean quitting your job tomorrow. It means you are no longer completely dependent on that paycheck being the only engine keeping your life running. You gain options. You gain the ability to say no to things that do not serve you. You gain breathing room that most people spend their entire lives without ever building for themselves. And none of it started with a large income. It started with one decision to stop killing the goose and start protecting it instead. Before you open that account, there is one habit worth building right alongside it. Before any non-essential purchase, ask yourself a simple question. Am I willing to pay the second cost of this? The first cost is the price tag. The second cost is everything that comes after the purchase, the time, the effort, the follow-through required to actually get value from it. A gym membership is a perfect example. Paying for it is the first cost. Showing up week after week to actually use it is the second cost. A closet full of clothes with tags still on them exists because people paid the first cost and never intended to pay the second. This one question filters out a huge amount of spending that quietly drains a goose before it ever gets the chance to grow, and it takes about 3 seconds to ask yourself before you check out. Here is your actual assignment, and I want you to take this seriously. Open a separate account today if you do not already have one. Do not overthink which bank. Just get one opened that is disconnected from your daily spending. Then set up one automatic transfer for the day after your next paycheck arrives, even if the amount feels small. That single action done once is what separates people who talk about saving from people who actually build wealth. Your goose will not grow overnight. Nobody's does. But a year from now, you will either have a goose that is quietly growing in the background, or you will still be starting from zero. And the only difference between those two futures is the decision you make in the next 24 hours. Nobody is coming to build this for you, and nobody needs to. One account, one transfer, one rule to never touch the principal. That is the entire blueprint, and it works exactly the same whether you start with $10 or $10,000.